Hey, I'm Rob, and I'm here to give a presentation of the Yick versus Hopkins case. After the American Civil War, the states passed like 3 amendments in order to maintain the peace, and the 14th Amendment is one of it. And I believe the 14th Amendment is probably the most used amendment in the state's history, and I'm not pretty sure about this, but I guess so. And the amendment is also called the Equal Protection Clause. It rules that no state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So the amendment was first used to protect the black people in the states. However, after the Yick versus Hopkins case, this amendment has been broadly used to fight against meaning like racial discrimination and unequal treatment cases. So in early 1850s, like the discrimination of Chinese people has become very popular in the United States, especially in the state of California. And in 1854, the Supreme Court of the California ruled that no Chinese people are allowed to give any disadvantageous testimonies pointing to any white people. So, and in 1870s, the Board of Supervisors of the San Francisco City passed a rule, or it's an ordinance. It's called the Laundry Ordinance. Like in the written word, it seems to be really reasonable and fair. It just simply regulates how a laundry shop should be, like the safety standard or stuff like that. But it actually didn't rule out how the standard that the city enforcing such rules. So with this ordinance, the San Francisco government refused all applications as applied by Chinese laundry shop owners. Yet under such circumstances, Yick is a Chinese laundry shop owner. He has been open a laundry shop in the state for over 22 years, and he refused to obey such rules, and he insists to open the laundry shop without a what called legal license. As a result, Yick was captured by the police Hopkins, but he is obviously not satisfied with such situation, so he sued Hopkins in the city government to the the Supreme Court of the state California. However, the suit is not smooth at the very beginning. Like the Supreme Court of the California rejected his suit at the very beginning. So being really dissatisfied with the answer given by the Supreme Court of California, you appealed the case to the National Supreme Court, which finally be accepted. However, this was not a very easy case. Like there are a couple of constitutional problems that he has to face. The first one is, may a city enforce an ordinance in racially discriminatory manner. Second is, does a law or ordinance granting a person or entity absolute discretion to grant or deny permission to carry on a lawful business violate the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution? And the third question, I guess it's probably the biggest question, is, as it was really clear, Yick was not an American citizen, so should he be protected by the 14th Amendment? So if I am the lawyer of Yick, the 14th Amendment should still be the greatest power, the greatest weapon I can use to fight against the case, like to win the case. The first, the 14th Amendment regulates that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. In my opinion, I can't be sure it is correct, but I think this clause means that in 1880s, American citizens include at least black people and white people. It means that there are at least two different races, even more races in the United States. So, in this case, no law can be made to abridge the privileges and immunities of citizens of the United States. Also implied no law can be enforced in a racially discriminatory manner. So when a law or policy only rules certain classifications like race, sex, and sexual preference, the cause would have applied strict scrutiny. So the laundry ordinance neither justified by a compelling government's interest nor narrowly tailored to achieve the interest. So it was pretty clear that it's obeyed the 14th Amendment, even it was used only to rule Chinese people, not the American citizens. And according to the similar reason, a law or ordinance granting a person or entity absolute discretion to grant or deny permission to carry on a lawful business thus violates the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. As a result, the behavior that the San Francisco government denied all Chinese laundry shops permission to carry on the lawful business was not legally allowed. Moreover, the 14th Amendment regulates that nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. I've noticed that the words that was chosen to write here is people rather than citizens, so I have reason to believe that the amendment means to protect the equal right of every people in the United States, but not only the American citizens. So the equal protection clause is valid to even Chinese people. This clause should be the greatest power to win the case. The final judgment verified my thoughts. Like the Justice Matthew Ahmed indicated that even Chinese laundry owners were not American citizens. They were still protected by the equal protect mentioned in the 14th Amendment. In this case, the unequal ordinance violates the 14th Amendment. The court concluded that if it is applied and administered by public authority with an evil eye and an unequal hand, so as practically to make unjust and illegal discriminations between persons in similar circumstances material to their rights, the denial of equal justice is still within the prohibition of the Constitution. The Supreme Court final judgment announced that Yick won the case and the Board of Supervisors of San Francisco lose. So I think the Yick versus Hopkins case is a really meaningful case in the United States history. Like normally a country examines if a law violates the Constitution by only checking the written law itself. However, in the Yick versus Hopkins case, the laundry ordinance was a fair clause in at least written. So, however, the city government used the law impartially. So in this case, the Supreme Court judged the law by judging its enforcing procedure and finally defined it as a violation of the national constitution. I believe the Yick and Hopkins case has become a really important precedent in the American legal system. Like it has been widely used as a reliance in many cases that minority ethnic challenge the state's discrimination policy and laws. Thank you. That's my presentation.